Welcome. For the first time in two places at once.
This is weird. Hannah moved to another state, so now the podcast has to be done weird. No, just kidding. It's probably how normal podcasts work.
It's not weird. So, welcome to Cosplay Stitch and Seam. I'm Pennon.
And I'm V-Fire. Woo!
Yay! So yeah, as we always say, you can check out our podcast on many places. You can go to cosplaystitchandseam.com.
And also go to you can email us. There we go. Emailing! You can email us at cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com. There we go. And you can send us your horror stories and all sorts of fun things. You can tell us hello. You can join our Facebook group. You can...
Which is at, like, almost 200 people right now. Like...
As of the recording.
Yeah, well, as of the recording, it was at, like... I looked this morning and it was at, like, 170 something.
Nice.
I was like, holy crap!
That's pretty awesome. It's a really fun group.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Mercedes does a really good job of posting almost daily for you guys to, like, check in, talk about your projects, talk about whatever is exciting to you. And then, as always, we want you to introduce yourself and tell us about what you're working on.
We've only had to kick out one person for advertising something weird.
Oh, really? I missed that.
Yeah. Our members were on it quick. They reported it real fast, and I was like, oh, well, that'll go away.
Booted. Nice.
You can advertise your cosplay page. You can't advertise your weird YouTube. I don't know what that was. I made it go away. So, today's topic.
All right. Today, we're talking about... This is actually a topic suggested by you guys on the Facebook page. Specifically, Darren Moser wanted to know about maintaining past cosplays, how do you store, refurbish, and rewear past cosplays, and how do you decide when to retire a costume?
It's very big questions, hard decisions there.
But yeah, I thought we'd just go through each thingy thing, and...
We had some people send their own suggestions, as well as, like... Yeah. I mean, we obviously probably have ways of going about that.
Yeah. So I thought we'd start with storing cosplay. And Mercedes, if you have those in front of you that you can chime in with notes from the Facebook group, yeah?
Yes, it finally loaded.
Oh, awesome. Oh,
my phone was like, don't do it. And I was like, come on! Yes, I do have those.
I made notes, but I don't know if I got everything that everybody talked about, so...
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing about storing cosplays is, like, especially if you're in a small space, is that it's like, where do you put it? How do you keep it out of the way so that you don't lose your, very limited space in your house?
Yeah.
Or apartment, or basement, or wherever you are.
Yeah, like, the two big things to take into consideration that I wrote down are, like, what is it made of? Because what it's made of is going to depend on how you can store it.
Oh, yes.
And then how much space is it taking up? For me, since most of mine are fabric, or, like, mostly fabric, I get a lot of those storage bins. And I can, like, in the big size storage bins. So I can just shove them all in there, fold them nicely, and I can keep probably like 5 or 6 costumes in a tub, depending on what size it is. If it's like a ball gown, I can probably only fit like 2 in a tub. But, it's not bad. And then, just slide them all under the bed and bring them out when it's time to get them ready for a con. With armor, it's a little bit harder because you're dealing with so many like sharp angles, and unlike fabric, it doesn't bend.
So
you kind of have to Tetris your pieces. Depending on what they're made of and how you finish them, you might have to like wrap them in something so that they're not going to bump up against each other. I mean, that's the same for a lot of your props as well. Like making sure it's not going to get damaged being in storage is a big one. If you can use just bubble wrap straight on it, or if the plastic is going to try to bond with your sealant, stuff like that is good to keep in mind.
First thing that went to my head when you said bubble wrap, I was like, oh, it's gonna peel all my paint off. That can happen, but you can also put a layer of fabric, like something soft, something that's not gonna damage it, and then do the bubble wrap over it.
Right.
Keep it soft, keep it safe.
Keep it soft, keep it safe. Thanks, Gandalf.
Name of the episode? Yeah.
But yeah, also you want to think of like where you're living and what kind of elements you're putting your cosplay in. If you are lucky enough to be able to store it indoors, it's less of an issue. But I know some of us use like outdoor storage closets or spaces or garages, and just making sure that that storage area is not going to, get so cold that it warps your paint, or it gets so hot that like some of your thermoplastics start to warp, or like your fabrics, make sure they're not like out in the sunshine so they get like, what is it, like the sun bleached after a while. Yeah. One of the other things I put to keep in mind is so the way I store things is kind of weird, but it works for my dumb brain, is is I don't store like the costumes all together in one area. I store like the fabric pieces in the bins, and then I have a drawer that's just cosplay accessories, and then I have another drawer that's cosplay wigs. So like I have to like pull the pieces from each section, but some of the like costumes have smaller pieces, so I don't want to like put a small jewelry with a ball gown, because even if I put it in like a plastic bag, it's probably going to get eaten by all of the fabric.
Mm-hmm.
So I store everything separately, but in like generalized bins that make sense to me. I saw some tips on storage that were like, whatever works for you, whatever makes sense to you in ways to store it is going to be probably a smart idea, rather than trying to conform to how someone tells you to. So
yeah, like for example, I try to keep all my stuff in one box, and maybe multiple things in a box, which has led to some very entertaining Mercedes going, which box did I put Wonder in again? I always seem to put my Shadow of the Colossus cosplay in a different box every convention. So when I go to the next one, I'm like, I want to wear that one. I forget which box it's in. And yeah, especially if it's like one I haven't worn in a while. I was scrambling last time trying to figure out where I'd put him, and finally remembered that he was in Sheik's box, and I haven't worn Sheik in a while, and that one was up and very far away, and so I had to get a footstool and climb in my closet to get it.
Okay, question, because this is the one I struggle with, is how to store the props. Because I have, like, bins and drawers and discrete stuff for everything else, but, like, I have, like, 3 Master Swords and a Krebs Star and a Battle Axe, and, like, where do I even put them? I just kind of end up, like, leaning them against a wall in a corner somewhere, or, like, Yeah,
so I actually have 2 places where I keep props at my apartment. Well, technically 3, but the third one shouldn't be how you store them. The first one's I've got some, like, a storage space just outside, and we put shelving in it, and on one of the shelves, that's where all my props lay flat. They can lay on top of each other, because most of my props are pretty durable, so, like, I'm okay just kind of, not necessarily tossing them, but gently placing them on top of each other. And if any of the ones that are more fragile, I just kind of, like, wrap something around it that I'm okay having out, because it's outside. And then the second place is I actually put them on display in my apartment. So, like, Aloy's bow is in my dining area, above the mirror, because it looks really cool. And then my Shadow of the Colossus sword actually hangs by my computer. And then the third place is on my project desk, where they're not supposed to be.
Nice. I saw a thing from Kamui Cosplay recently that was like using like metal grids, or like that cork board that has the holes poked in it.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Like hanging that on your wall and using like zip ties or different ties to hold your pieces on, like just across your wall. I was like, that actually is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, zip ties, especially if you're like, I've retired this one, but I want to put the prop on display. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And then I've seen, like, IKEA has so many, like, not to, like, drop brand names and businesses, but, like, IKEA has some really fun ideas for storage.
I get lost in it.
I get lost there, but it's so fun to look around and be like, I never thought of storing stuff this way.
I found out they have, like, fabric bins that you can put stuff that slide under your bed, and I'm just like,
what?
And they can also slide into, like, bookcases and all sorts of things. They have all different shapes and sizes, and my organization brain just loves it. For fabric cosplays, I actually wanted to kind of share a couple of the comments for storage.
Yeah, definitely.
Just about everybody who commented, by the way, had a comment on storage and then a comment on, like, retiring and refurbishing and all that stuff. So I'm going to kind of break up their comments as we go through. And so I'll probably come back to a quote later. So Sarah Bow, she's adorable.
Sarah Bow.
She says, I currently store my cosplay in bins in a closet on my balcony because I live in a small space. When I get ready for a con about a week before, I evaluate what I'm bringing, and if I see something that needs repair, I bring it inside. So she does the bin method of just keeping her cosplays in bins, and then she's got a place outside that they can stay safe.
Nice.
Bun Lee Cosplay says, in terms of storage, I've hung most of my costumes in my closet with a garment cover or bag to protect from the dust. Those are super nice. I need to get one of those. I really do. I put plastic bags over mine.
And, like, the nice thing with those is I'm less worried about putting small pieces in there because they'll just catch all at the bottom of the garment bag.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, get lost somewhere in the swirls of all that fabric.
Some garment bags have extra pockets, too, so that you can actually slide, like, jewelry or the shoes that go with it, that cosplay. Like, you can put all your cosplay in one garment bag with all the accessories and stuff. She says, for shoes, so this is still Bun Lee, for shoes, I place each one in its own storage bag, then store it all together in a single large storage bin. And then for props, since she doesn't have too many currently, I've either stored them in my closet, or if they're small enough, in a plastic drawer. That's pretty cool. I'm going to steal some of those.
Break it down.
Good methods. Alex from Ex-Angel Design. She says, I store mine hung up in our craft room closet or on a dress form if I still need to do some work on them. I want to get more garment bags because those are super nice for traveling as well as storage. And shoes are kept in my own closet because most of mine double as shoes that she wears whenever. Aw, cute.
That's always nice.
Wigs, she keeps on styrofoam heads on a shelf and hats on top of them because she also has awesome hats. She says, regarding hats, some recommended Christmas ornament boxes are cheap alternatives for hat boxes. That's really cool. And then she keeps some of her props on display throughout the house.
I have been struggling with hats lately because I made like 3 wizard hats and they're big and like obnoxiously big. And now I have nowhere to keep them.
Yeah. Hats get massive.
Yeah.
Evelyn actually asks about prop storage in her thing. She's pretty new into cosplay. So she says, so far I have, in the 5 years I've been making cosplay, some are hung in my closet, but others are just folded up in a corner of my bedroom. I've done that. Just throw it in a corner. Yeah. Totally works fine. Iron it before the convention.
Please iron it.
She says, so far they still fit, but she wants to, revisit and remake some cosplays, but hasn't had the time yet. Especially since she's gotten better over the years. But she says when it comes to props, that's where she's lost on how to store them. So I think props is really one of the biggest ones because they're usually, like, depending on what you're doing, big and bulky, and there's just, like, nowhere to put them. The shelf I have in my storage is, like, it's at least 4 feet, like, deep. So you can, like, stick things, like, way deep in it. And then anything that's longer or taller than that, I either set it on there at an angle or it sits in a corner behind a door, actually. Because then no one can see it behind my door.
Keep it hidden. Hide your shame.
Hide my shame. Thanks, Pannon. My props are not my shame. Yeah, no, I've actually, I'm really glad we're doing this episode because I myself might be moving. At the time of this episode, I might be moved. I don't know. And so I've been thinking a lot on, like, how am I going to store this? And I'm moving in with other people, so it's like, how can I not impede on their space? Because I'm so good at that. My living room is full of crap right now. My crap. My cosplay crap.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
When looking for a place, like if you are in the process of moving, keep in mind how you want to store things. Yeah. So yeah, storing stuff is fun.
One of the things I put toward the end of storing stuff is the thing none of us like to think about, but making sure that you have the space for the project when you finish it.
Yes.
Because you don't want to start a new thing and be like, I love my new thing, but now it lives all over my living room.
Yep. Well, like, Sadie and I want to do this really, like, it's not really big cosplays, but because we both want one, we want to be, I mean, this is supposed to be a secret cosplay, but it's, like, totally not. She's told everybody.
You didn't tell me!
Chocobo riders.
Wait, she did tell me.
She did tell you. And we want to do, we want to both be, like, riding on chocobos, and, like, I want to make it so hilarious, like, just have the movement of the chocobos' heads just be comical.
Yes.
And
see, I always wanted to do that, but just, like the inflatable garbage ones.
Oh my gosh, yes, that too. That is a good alternative, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so we have decided against making those just yet until one or both of us have a house to store it in. Because, like, where the heck am I gonna put that thing? Like...
Yeah, that's fair.
And, that's... So just kind of, like, look at what you want to make and be like, can I actually keep it in my place?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the cosplay that takes up the most space for me right now is actually Sergeant Calhoun, because her armor...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't fold. It takes up a lot of space, so it's in, like, 2 boxes, and then the chest armor sits out separate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Prince Sidon for me, because, like, the armor and that big belt piece does not move like a belt. It's just a solid loop of thermoplastic. So I have to, like, set it out on things.
It looks so fantastic.
So fancy. Should we move on to the refurbish part?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so refurbishing.
So for step 1, I said basically pull it out and assess the damage so you know what you're working with. There's nothing, like, worse than planning on bringing something to a convention, pulling it out of storage, and seeing that it needs, like, way more repairs than you have time to do before the con or the event or whatever.
Yep. So I'm actually going to throw in Brittany's suggestion on that. I like her method. I don't think I could actually do it myself because I die after a convention, but she says all repairs are done as part of convention cleanup. All pieces that can go into a garment bag and hung up in a closet are hung up in a closet. The ones in storage have cedar balls to keep moths away. That's really smart. And she retires a cosplay if she no longer has interest in cosplaying it or if it needs a major repair to be usable again. So she'll retire a cosplay if she feels like the repairs are too much. But yeah, she does all her repairs after the convention, like as part of convention cleanup. I'm
not that good. Yeah, I just want to die after a convention.
I do too. I'm like, but that's really smart. So maybe I'll attempt to incorporate that in because that's like, it's also done and out of the way. And then like when you get ready for the next convention, it's like you don't got to stress about it.
See, if I tried to do that, I would, like, it would be weeks before I pulled things out of the suitcases and then finally looked at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a good idea if that works for you.
Yes.
Stay on top of it. So, with refurbishing, I wanted to touch on, like, basically the pieces of your costume and how each one can be refurbished. So I broke it down to, like, wigs, props and armor, and fabrics. So with wigs, there are some ways you can revitalize damaged wigs. Any of your costume pieces, once you get, like, so far into it, it's just gonna need to be retired or replaced. But there are, like, make sure you're washing your wigs. If it's one that is loosely styled enough that it can be washed. If you're not, make sure like you're using some kind of like deodorizing thing so it's not a stinky wig. If you need to like fix up the spikes, you can use different hairsprays, different hair glues. Sometimes giving your wigs just a spa day to clean and tidy them up is good. For longer wigs, I actually found this product that was recommended by Garnet Runestar called It's a 10, and it's like a spray in, brush in thing. And I used to use like this Korean brand thing, but I couldn't find it anymore. So I started using It's a 10, and they work about the same. It's really good for brushing out long wigs and not tangling them. They have it at just like local Walmart, but it is a little bit pricey. But it does work great on synthetic hair.
That's a good idea.
Anyone? Yeah. Any ideas from you, Mercedes, for wigs?
I am not good at storing my wigs. I have a bin that they all kind of stack in, but I also don't have a ton of like super styled long wigs. Most of mine are like short. I think the most complicated one that I've got is Aloy, and like that one I keep on a wig head, and every time before a convention I sit there, I brush it out. My thing on wigs is that if you have braids in it or any sort of styling, make sure that you can either make it super permanent or be able to restyle it later. Because there was one time I made Lexus, my sister, into Princess Zelda from Twilight Princess, and we did a lot of permanent things to the wig that if the braids got tugged on, you couldn't fix.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
oh no.
There's a lot of repairs that I gotta do on that, and I gotta very carefully take it apart. We hot glued stuff on it and things like that. Like, it just was not very good choices. Again, it was very, like, I was experimenting. But like I found with my chic wig and now with Aloy, because she's got a ton of braids, is that it's better to, like, at least for the style of wigs that I do, it's better to keep it as natural as possible and make it so that later I can undo those braids, comb it out, get all the tears and pulls taken care of, and then put that braid back in. Which sucks with chic, because chic has a weird braid. I
definitely get that.
I have pictures of how I like put the braid together so that I go back and remember how I did it. Also do that. If you have something weird where like the braid starts with like 5 strands and then eventually comes into 3.
Yeah.
Take pictures of your process so that way you can fix it up later. But it helps keep the wig young and healthy looking, I guess, instead of old and ratty.
Yeah. I've done a lot of Sailor Moon wigs, as you may have seen or guessed.
What? No.
I know. And before, like, now I do them all permanent style, so they can't be taken out of the pigtails. But before that, I would do as a temporary style, and I would just restyle them at every convention. And, like, it did mean the wig lasted longer, but I wasn't always able to consistently, like, get the style to look the way I wanted.
Yeah.
And then I also, like, I couldn't get it to lay as flat as I wanted, because the buns always ended up, like, kind of skiwampus when I had to, like, style it at the con. So yeah, I just started permanent styling, and I have loved doing it that way ever since. So, yeah, it's not the same for every single project, but for that one, for me, it's easier to just go with a pre-style, like, style it all at home, and then just take it with me.
Yeah, it's good to take a look at like what kind of wig are you working on, and like how there's a lot of different choices you can take depending on the style and what you want it to look like.
Yeah.
Again, for me, like most of my wigs are just short hair, not a bunch of styling, not even hardly any hairspray put into them, because I just like the natural kind of. Usually, I just kind of trim it up a bit and then rough it up, and boom, I'm dirty medieval hobo. that I usually cosplay as.
One thing I skipped over with storage for wigs that kind of fits in with, like, taking care of them. For me, I keep them in, like, I got one of those, like, Walmart plastic drawer sets that's, like, 3 tiers of drawers or whatever, because I have, like, 3 of them for wigs, and that's a lot of wigs. But individually, I put them into those Ziploc gallon-sized bags, and I can usually fit a whole wig into each bag, even, like, the longer ones. And you can also do the same with, like, grocery bags, just, like, plastic bags, just to separate them individually, so you're not throwing, like, 5 wigs into a drawer together and letting them, like, roll around and get messy. So, yeah.
Nice. I have a plastic bin. It's a tiny one. It's not, like, a small size. It's, like, almost over small, but not medium. I don't know. It's not super big, because I don't have a ton of wigs. And I store the wigs. I put the paper back into the wig. You know, like when you purchase a wig and it has like paper on the inside. I put that back inside. I put the.
You keep it. Oh, okay.
I do. Mostly.
I just, like,
there's a lot that I don't, but I should
get it out of there.
Chuck it.
Just chuck it.
Sometimes I'll put the hairnet thing back over it if I remember to keep it. Slide all that back in the plastic, and then they're all just stacked on top of each other in this bin, along with any extra wefts and stuff, and my styling kit, which ripped through its bag the other day. I need to replace that. The scissors are sharp.
Nice. So, How about we move on to armor? How to fix armor before a con. Of course, it's going to depend on what your armor's made of. If it's, like, foam or thermoplastic or leather or whatnot. How do we fix cracks? Are there products that are good for fixing different types? Blah, blah, blah. So.
Yeah, it all depends on, like, what you're working on. Now, again, like, most people who commented just kind of kept it pretty general. But I kind of want to throw this one out here from Bun Lee. This is for refurbishing cosplays. It depends on if I want to do the redo on the whole costume or just remake certain pieces. I try to look at the costume overall and see if there are pieces I can save or if there are pieces I should redo with better materials. And I think that's a really good way to approach looking at armor, is trying to decide, do I want to repair this scratch on here? Do I want to make it look like it's part of the battle damage? Or do I just want to remake the entire piece? And I also want to put out there is, like, make sure you decide this months before the convention, not like a week before, because that's going to change how much you can actually do. You can make changes on.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, for armor, like, if it's something small, I don't know. Sarah Bow also had, like, she was just talking kind of in general, but, like, if it looks like it'll only take 20 minutes to fix, she does it right away.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because it's, like, quick, simple, boom, done. I like that one. As look at what all the small things are and quickly get those out of the way. And then, what I'll do is I'll actually, I had to do this recently with Aloy. I had to look over her whole costume, and I was like, okay, what things on the costume were making me uncomfortable the last time I wore it? How can I fix that and prioritize? Because, like, I only had so much time that I could work on things, so I was like, okay, I want to change these pieces. I can just repair these ones. I can just repaint those ones, and it'll still be fine. Like, still look awesome. If I add padding behind these, my knees won't get scratched up anymore. She's got armor on her knees, and they, depending on what I'm doing, will kind of be a little scratchy. And, you know, I just went through and did, like, what I wanted the most first, and then I think the only thing that I wasn't able to do the last time that I went through and was working on her stuff is I want to remake the headpiece to have more details on it. But that requires remaking the whole thing.
Oh, dang. Well, I was looking at it from a, like, okay, what is my armor made of, and what different fillers can I look at? So if your armor is foam, there are different foam fillers you can do. I talked about these a little bit at the prop panel at Bonsai, but Model Magic and Hardy Clay are both, like, lightweight foam clays that will air dry. They are basically, like, once it dries, it is foam. So if you have, like, tears or things like that and you need to make repairs, you can use that as a filler to fill in cracks and holes and things like that. Of course, you are going to have to go back and, like, sand it and then paint it. And like Mercedes said, if it's going to be, like, that big of a thing, is it going to be easier to remake it or is it going to be easier to fix it? And then the same for, like, thermoplastics. You can go in and get, like, the little friendly plastic pellet beads that melt down and then use those as filler. And again, you're going to have to, like, sand things and Bondo things and whatnot to get it so that it matches the rest of your piece. But it's up to you to decide if those pieces are, like, worth saving and putting that into.
I think it's really good. And I think all that advice also, like, overlaps into props, because the props use a lot of that hard material and soft materials. So it uses a lot of similar materials to armor, I guess. That's really good advice of, like, looking for, like, the right kind of filler and, you know, realizing that you're probably going to spend time sanding that to disguise that you filled something in.
Yeah. And then, what was the one that you guys used? The Sculpty, it's like that gray mix Bondo stuff that you guys use for sculpting. Magisculpt is good.
I love it.
Is good too. Yeah. It will, like, it's great for filling in cracks. It's great for sculpting with. It's great for multi-uses. So,
yes.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Wanted to move on to fabric, repairing and things like that. I feel like it's similar to armor where you kind of want to analyze and go, okay, is this worth saving or can I fix it? Are there, like, tears in it? And with fabric, the hard part is, like, is the tear close to a seam or is it in the middle of, like, your skirt? Because some are going to be easier to fix than others. Some you might have to look into replacing, like, that whole piece, and others, you know, will be okay because it's close to a seam and you can just kind of, like, fudge it into the seam.
Yeah.
Am I talking? Oh, okay. I didn't hear a Mercedes and now I can't see your face. So I'm like, oh no!
I'm ignoring you!
Again.
Just kidding. Okay.
Oh, okay. It's okay, it's just fabric, it's not armor, so you don't have to pay attention.
No, I don't.
Wow. And then I also wanted to say, like, whether it's something you can machine sew versus when you have to hand sew. Because when I've had a big hole in the middle of fabric rather than close to a seam, but I don't want to, like, completely lose the piece because reasons, you can go in and, like, hand sew a patch in and, like, it's still going to be visible, but it's less noticeable if you go in and, like, very carefully, like, hand tack it in instead of sewing machines just tend to be a little bit more bulldozery instead of delicate. And then exactly. And then the other things that are common with fabric are discoloration and stains. Most stains can still be treated. Like, I got, oh gosh, I love my Princess Serenity dress, you may have noticed. But at one con, I got so many stains on it. I had, like, coffee stains, and I had, like, blood stains, and I had something I didn't know what it was, you know? And I was just like, this dress is white chiffon. It's not going to survive. But you can get stains out. You just have to know the right ways to treat them. There's some really good products for each thing. Like at KatsuCon one year, one of my horror stories was I made Lana from Hyrule Warriors, her, like, DLC skin. So it's a super detailed one, like, had made all of the, like, lace work myself using, like, cut and burn techniques and whatnot. So, like, I absolutely loved the costume. And I had a bottle of hairspray explode in my bag.
Oh.
And it's white. Yeah, it's white satin on one side and has purple, like, taffeta, like stretch taffeta, I think, on the other side. And because of the hairspray exploding, onto that costume, it, like, the dye from the purple taffeta, like, got into the white satin, and I was just, like, in tears. I was so upset. But we, one of the gals I was rooming with, Stephanie, was like, well, have you tried this? And it's like that gel, one of those gel products that you just, like, stamp into it and scrub with. So, like, I thought it was ruined. It would never be the same. But, like, we just used that and overnight and it was fine, like, the next day. So, knowing what product can really save you from having to, you know, go back and cry a lot because you have to remake something. I've seen some really great lists online that go through, like, what is the stain and what do you want to treat it with. Yeah. So just knowing those, or, like, going to look those up after a con is a good idea before cry.
Before cry. Understanding what fabric you have chosen.
Yeah.
And how to care for it before you make the thing is probably a good idea. Because maybe you'll get that fabric, you'll be like, oh, this is perfect. And then you look at the care instructions and be like,
yeah,
that's a pain.
Uh-huh. Yeah. The other hard part with my Serenity costume is that parts of it are, like, actual silk. And you can't, like, wash that normally because it tends to yellow. And...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult, balancing act, basically. So yeah, I also like getting, like, dry cleaning is expensive, so I got that, like, you can get, like, a Dryel kit from basically any grocery store for, like, I think it's like $15, and it includes, like, a dry cleaning bag and, like, 3 or 4 like, of the little, like, chemical mixes, and basically, like, it gives you stuff to touch the spots up, and then you throw it in with the they put it on, like, a little wet wipe that you throw in with your costume in this bag, and you just put it through the dryer, and it works almost as well as getting it dry cleaned, which is really helpful on your pocketbook.
That's
so
really cool. I didn't even know about that. The more you know.
Yeah, I like that one.
I
actually, like, store Serenity in a dry cleaning bag because it's just easier that way.
That
is nice. So that was my fabrics thing.
Fabrics.
So I guess going into rewear, I feel like this is kind of a short topic when to rewear past cosplay is, like, all I could really think of was make sure it still fits and then see if it can be refurbished and if you want to improve or make anything new on it, basically. If you're still interested in wearing it, like, still wear it, as long as it still fits and as long as it's in good shape.
Yeah. Sarah Bo actually had another thing on that. She wrote a lot of good stuff. She's like, I have a honey jacket from Oran High School Host Club that is in desperate need for a remake, but it's still wearable, and I'm not entering it for a contest anytime soon. So she wears it. She said that she just sold a Hetalia cosplay because it didn't fit her anymore. I mean, that's a good reason to retire a cosplay, is it doesn't fit you anymore, so you can, sell it off if you want to. She says, a few years ago, I remade Toru Honda. She was my first cosplay, and that first attempt was scary. But I'm much prouder of this new dress. But I'm much prouder of this new dress, which is modeled after the dress Ayame made her. I hope I'm saying that right.
Ayame.
Yeah, I love that character.
Ayame.
I love that character. So I kept the same character, but went from the school outfit to the semi-formal dress.
Nice. That's cute.
Yeah, and then I'm going to save her last part for later, because it's a good one. But yeah, so it's
okay. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to touch on with re-wearing them. Like, if, like, there's nothing wrong with wearing a cosplay to multiple conventions. I saw a post, I don't remember what cosplay forum it was on recently, but there was a girl, and she was just really upset because she was like, I really love this costume, but, because people keep telling me not to wear it to every single convention because it's boring to keep wearing the same thing. And I'm like, I mean, if you love the character, why not?
Yeah.
Like, that's totally up to you. You do cosplay because it's what you like and cosplay characters that you love. There's nothing wrong with doing the same character more than once or twice or a dozen times,
Yeah, and sometimes, like, you might get, like, bored of wearing the same one over and over again. But, like, don't, like, if it's one that you love, like, don't get rid of it because, like, you're bored or someone else is bored. Save it for a while. Like, I wore chic all the time. Panna knows, because, like, everywhere I went, I was like, and I'm taking chic, because, like, I was excited, and I really love that cosplay, and then I got bored of it.
It's a good costume.
It is a good costume, I like it. But yeah, I got bored of it, so I set it aside. Yeah. But then I re-wore it again, recently, and it just felt like it was brand new all over again. Like, even though it's, like, one of my older cosplays now, it just felt brand new, and just, like...
Aww.
Yeah, it was fun to revisit it, and, like, if you find that, I don't know...
Aww.
If you have friends or fans that are like, we're bored of seeing that, you can take it out of the loop for a little bit, bring it back, and it's like it's new again. I think you're gonna find that a lot more people
that's
like,
true.
they like just seeing you in those costumes, like, whether you wear them once or a million times. Like, I don't know, I always hate seeing someone just wear something once, and then I never get to go and see it in person. It's like, oh, that costume, I really wanted to see that.
Oh, yeah. One of the other things I thought was, like, you can put different twists on it. Like, I've seen people do, like, if there's a character you really love, you can do, like, their main outfit, but you can do, like, maybe one of their alternate looks, or maybe one of, like, think of them for, like, a holiday, if it's close to a holiday with the con you're going to, or, like, do a summer look, or a winter look, or, like, have fun with it, because you can still do the same character in different ways. Like, one of my favorite cosplayers...
I change Aloy's face paint every time I wear her. I just wear a different face paint from the game.
Nice. That's what I do when I cosplay Taco from the Adventure Zone. Is like, I'm like, he would not wear the same outfit every time, so neither will I. It's always gotta be different. So I just have, like, 5-6 different pieces, and I switch them all out and have fun with it. One of the cosplayers I really like, Heidi, I can't remember her cosplay page because I'm awful, but she does Mei from Overwatch, and she has done, like, I swear, like, 8 different versions of Mei. Like, she's done her pajama set, she's done her default set, she did a Halloween set, she did, like, well, I think she's done 2 Halloween sets. But yeah, she does, like, all the different skins, and it's really cute, and it's fun because she just loves the character so much.
It's fun to change them up like that.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see. So I guess that moves us on to cosplay retirement, or retirement of your costumes.
Yes, not cosplay retirement.
Putting them out to pasture.
Oh.
I am retired from cosplay forever. Gosh. No.
So for me on that one, the way I've retired my past ones has just been that my skill, like, has improved so much, and so I, like, look at the old ones and I just kind of, at least for me, I'm just kind of like, I could remake that, or, like, not want to wear it anymore. And that's fine. Like, you can always, like, just choose, I just don't want to wear it anymore, and that's A-okay. But, like, with the Wanderer from Shadow of the Colossus, I've made that one twice. And I like wearing that one because I love that video game, but as I got, like, better and better, like, skill set wise, whenever I would put that on, I felt like it wasn't representing my skill sets anymore. And so I stopped wearing it, and then I was like, I'm just gonna remake it because I love wearing. It's my favorite game ever. I mean, just get me going, and I'll just tell you all the reasons why I love that game. So I remade it, and now I can still, and it still has pieces even from the old one that I, like, incorporated into the new one, which was a fun way of going about it.
Nice.
So I guess its retirement kind of destroyed the old one. And I also keep pieces. Yeah, I keep pieces. I still have the original tabard as well, and the original sword too. So, but yeah, you can, like, retire a costume by remaking it and incorporating pieces of the old one into the new one. Or you can, you want to, sell it. You can do that as well. I sold my Phi cloak, actually, the one with the marker on it. I sold it for $15. I was so proud of that. Like, that I was able to sell it for $15. I went to one of those cosplay yard sale things. Yeah. I think it's the only cosplay that I've sold. But if you want to, you can, try and put it out on the market, essentially, and see if somebody will buy it up.
Yeah, I feel like it just is, I don't know, I like recycling, I like upcycling, and so, like, being able to sell things so that someone else can use them appeals to me.
You want it to go to a good home, because, like, it's not, you're not just being like, okay, I'm done with this, it's going away.
Right.
It's like a friend that you're giving away, and so I feel like selling it just, like, it keeps it from sitting in a box and just, like, getting all decrepit and sad, where someone else can wear it and be happy. And even if you don't feel like the quality of it's, as good as what you're doing now or whatever, like, someone is going to enjoy it. You enjoyed it when you wore it. You can share it with somebody else now.
Right. Nice. Well,
I think I just talked myself into selling some more cosplays now.
I think that covers it pretty good, pretty well.
So I got a couple more comments from the page.
Yeah. Hit me up.
Sorry, I had to look at the name again. X-Angel Design says that she retires a costume when it suffers from a catastrophic failure, i.e. something broke, ripped, cannot be easily repaired, or when it doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
And once retired, she salvages what she can from the costume for future pieces. So if you feel like it's, like, not resellable, you can still salvage pieces from it. I really like that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, looking at the others.
You're good.
Bun Lee says, I have yet to decide when to retire a costume because I found myself mostly on the side of trying to remake the costume better. So Bun Lee just make it better and better so it's still wearable and whatnot. That's also a good way to approach it, of just keeping it up to date so you can wear it again.
For sure.
And then Cerebro, I really love this paragraph from Cerebro. She says, the most important thing isn't how good does the costume look, or do I have enough space? It's, does it make me happy? I love wearing Honey, and it makes me happy. So even though he is beat up, he still has a place in my little bins. Make space for happiness. That's what this hobby is all about.
I like that. Make space for happiness.
Cute. So yeah, if a cosplay makes you happy, keep it. If you want to make it better, you can salvage from the old one, add it to the new one. There's, retiring an old cosplay doesn't mean that it's, going in the garbage for, it can mean a lot of different things, and it can mean growth.
Yeah, I like that. So are you ready for some horror stories?
Horror stories. We had some emailed in, didn't we?
Do you have...
Yes.
Oh, we did?
Let me pull up the email.
Nice. I know we usually do horror, but I had a heartwarming one for this week.
We want to start off heartwarming, yes.
Do you want to start with heartwarming or end with heartwarming?
We should probably end with heartwarming.
Okay, I'll let you pull up the horror story then.
All right, Kimberly is adorable. Okay, so she sent in. So she says, so one of the things I still remember about this story is telling you, i.e. me V Fire, about it later in the day, and it happened and going, that was you? Yes. Okay, so here's her story. Back in 2011, Kimberly, she says, I decided I wanted to cosplay Niliel to Orderswank. I don't know how to say that name. Niliel from Bleach.
Oh, from Bleach.
In her centaur-like form. And enter into the Anime Bonsai cosplay contest. Ambitious, but that's me.
That's awesome.
A month before Bonsai, I break my ankle rollerblading. As soon as I was off my meds could think clearly enough, I had to drop out of the contest. No way I was going to be crutching on stage in a four-legged costume. Fast forward to 2012. I decided to give Niliel another go and the contest another try, so I kept working on her. Procrastination struck, and a little less than an hour before craftsmanship judging, I needed to run out to Walmart for some last-minute Velcro. On the way, I get in a car wreck. Not my fault. Got hit by someone running a red light. And I had to have one of my friends contact the contest head and let her know I was pulling out again while I was on my way to the hospital. No biggie. They just wanted to check my head. At the news, the cosplay head declared Naliel cursed and she wouldn't let me enter it again. I agreed.
Oh no.
So the funny part about that is that, like, so now me V Fire talking, is that on my way to Anime Bonsai that year, I got stuck in the traffic that was that car accident.
Oh no.
And so when she's like retelling this later on, I was like, that was your car? Yeah. So, yeah, I got stuck up in such bad traffic that morning. I was late, I think, to my craftsmanship judging because I was like, what is going on?
Oh, jeez. That's horrible.
That's awful. Yeah. So she says that she's not attempted Niliel or the contest, actually, again. And she ended up dismantling Naliel for her parts. So this actually works really well with our topic today because she ended up dismantling for the parts. So
hey,
yeah. So if a character is cursed, there's another reason to retire
Silver
it.
lining.
Yeah. She says, "Cheers to cosplay" at the end. Oh, that's a good one. So
nice.
Be careful driving.
All right. So yeah, please. Oh. So for mine, I did sort of a heartwarming thing, because I think I've told this as a horror story in earlier episodes, but when my friend DJ and I did Fruits Basket, we did Kyo and Toru, but we did them as, like, reimagined, sort of, like, I did a Juni Hitoe, which is, like, a 12-layered kimono sort of a thing to do, like, a princess look for her, and every layer I did as a different zodiac animal, except the cat, blah, blah, blah. And we had that incident on stage where our audio didn't work and all that fun stuff. But it was really hard because, like, I was really sad about not getting to do that performance because it really meant something to me. But also, like, they were such, like, specifically for that sort of, like, performance. They didn't really work as hall costumes. So, to retire it, I got a bunch of people to be my models, basically, as the 12 Zodiac characters, and Toru. And I did a cute little, like, cosplay music video where I had all of them play, like, the part of their characters, and then as, like, a thank you gift for their help in, basically making it so that I still got to do this performance, I gave them each the layer of kimono that matched with the character that they were cosplaying, so they had something cute to take home, and I got to retire it in a way that was fun, and I still have that video on my YouTube thingy thing.
YouTube thingy thing, huh?
Yeah, hey, don't snicker at my heartwarming tale.
It's a very good tale.
But yeah.
But I just like the YouTube thingy thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really sweet.
The YouTube thingy thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll share it on the Facebook group or something.
That'd be cute. That'd be super cute. And then everyone will know your YouTube thingy thing.
Yeah. Oh no.
So I had a kind of funny side note on my Phi cloak. One way I thought about retiring it, because I think that's the one that I actually sat down and thought about, like, retiring and getting rid of it. I actually considered taking it to the Color Festival, because it's white, and the Colors Festival is all the colored chalk, and you either wear all white or all black to it.
Yeah.
And I, super debated about that, because it would just come back so colorful. Oh. And I thought, like, Phi would love that kind of thing. But I'm glad it went to somebody who could, like, take care of it and wear it and enjoy it. So. But yeah.
That's fair too, I guess.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's this week.
Woo, yay episode.
Did you have Yay episode. Did you have an announcement for the coffee stuff?
Yes, there's a link for Ko-fi, however you say that, donate a coffee to us.
I think it's supposed to be coffee.
Yes, I think it's supposed to be coffee.
But yeah, we do this podcast, like, I mean, we don't make any money off of this. It's kind of a money pit for us.
But if you want to help, like...
so if you like the podcast and want to help us, like, basically, it just pays for the web space, and hosting and bandwidth and stuff. If you want to give us a tip, we now have a coffee jar. So Mercedes will share the link so y'all can click that if you feel like helping out.
If we reach $100, I'll do an episode where I drink coffee. And I bounce off the walls. Like a full, like, large one. And I'll drink it all at once, and then you'll see what I do. You might not be able to keep me near the microphone.
I know we were talking about, like, if we reached a higher number, doing an episode that's just nothing but embarrassing tales that we haven't told before. Which I'd totally be down with doing. I also wanted to, like, throw out a huge thanks to Misty Nin Cosplay. She made these super cute Jackalope of All Trade t-shirts for us at Anime Bonsai a couple weeks back. And if you guys are interested in, like, doing a t-shirt shop or something, if you want to be a Jackalope of All Trades, I think that would be really fun to do. Yeah.
I love the shirt so much.
Yeah, me too. It's got a shiny metallic jackalope on it. It's the best. Pictures of them.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it for our episode today.
So, yeah.
Listen to us everywhere
for our audio mixing.
Oh, sorry. I'm talking over you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. How rude. How rude. Go ahead.
Okay.
You can listen to us everywhere at
cosplaystitchandseam.com. I mixed that up.
We're out of format. I can't see your face.
David's like...
Yes, you can listen to us at cosplaystitchandseam.com.
You can there, yes. Because I list
iTunes,
them all.
Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can contact us with your own horror stories, heartwarming stories, asking for advice or episode suggestions. It's cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com or
at cosplaystitchandseam.com.
And then make sure you check out our Facebook
one line,
group.
okay?
It's always growing. Thank you this week for putting up with us, David Jeffress of Dungeons and Chill and Comic Trades Monthly. And our music
by Macy Roberts.
Yay, thanks Macy. Remember, when it comes to cosplay storage, there's always room for improvement.
Oh,
thank you. Bye.
Oh no.
I know, I like the cute room for happiness. I was like, no, this ruins my pun, but it's so cute.